So for the final topic, Rizal, talisman for national stupidity. It is true that Rizal have been maltreated with his works and all by Filipino even until to this present Filipinos have missed face of the great hero that we publicly ignored the efforts made by our hero who fought colonial rule. Rizal became the national idiocy talisman, and I am very disappointed how certain uneducated Filipinos take for granted the works of Rizal. They took use for Jose Rizal's works and thought his ideas were used to poor argumentation and flowery politicians' speeches. Even our own administration cited his books to back up their dreary arguments. His personal experiences have been converted into tales that may be used to show whatever foolish, trifling virtue that a member of our mediocre elite want to be embraced. Rizal has come to represent the nation's foolishness. As a consequence, in addition to our admiration for him, there appears to be a sense of distaste of all of the features and attributes that have been assigned to him. I am delighted that the Rizal Law was developed to present Jose Rizal to us, the young people and our fellow countrymen, to educate us about Jose Rizal's contributions to our nation, his works and literatures, and that his life did not center solely around women. Instead, he dedicates his whole life to his country. Only a few people I discovered are attempting to salvage Rizal's name from the mediocrity and idiocy of the Filipinos' attitude. Rizal's other achievements should neither be disregarded in favor of his love life, nor should they be overstated in the public view. So, for the next topic, the Claro M. Recto and the Rizal Bill, the Rizal Law or RA 1425, its predicament. So, Senator M. Recto was the major proponent of the Rizal Law who defended it in the court. His motivation for enacting the Rizal legislation is to appreciate Rizal's work and to be able to see ourselves honoring our heroes, particularly Jose Rizal, who battled and died for our independence against the invaders. So, the major antagonist was the Catholic Church. They opposed Rizal Law because, for them, Rizal's writing violated church law and would undermine people's faith. However, it was still passed and mandated as law. The Republic Act of Rizal Law, or as RA 1425, which is about adopting a law that intends to instruct and enlighten Filipinos about national hero Dr. Jose Rizal's life, works, and writings, with a concentration of his book, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. This is to provide children and future generations a rich history and to understand how Rizal devoted his life to fight for our country's independence. I agree with Recto in wanting to educate the populace about Rizal's acts, which inspired him to fight for our nation in his own unique way. This is a significant time for all of us Filipinos, and I believe that we should reveal and celebrate the route that Rizal paved for us to enjoy this freedom. We would not have our independence now if it hadn't been for him. The passing of this Republic Act was a watershed point in history because it is implanted in as the patriotic and constructive nationalism that Rizal possessed. I even sense that developed Rizal's moral characteristics of justice and dedication to truth when I read his writings before. In my high school days about El Filibusterismo and Noli Me Tangere, this is something that should be greatly fostered among all citizens of our country. The approval of his measure demonstrated how we can fight for our own nation even when we are not fighting foreign invaders. It demonstrates that our love for our own nation is not confined to foreign foes, but also to our own flaws. Even so, there are still number of people who disregard the law and being watered down in certain schools and universities where the Noli and File have simply been blended into some social science disciplines. In response to these allegations, Commission on Higher Education Chairman Alfredo C. Alcala issued CHED Order No. 6, 1996 requires all public and private educational institutions to include the Rizal course as a separate 3-unit topic in all baccalaureate degree programs curriculum. All colleges and institutions were told that non-compliance with the directive will result in disciplinary action. So that's for the Claro M. Recto and Rizal Bill, the Rizal Law or RA 1425. So the next topic is the book of Rizal entitled Noli Me Tangere. Noli Me Tangere, wrote by Jose Rizal, is a well-known piece in Philippine literature. It was composed in 1887 and had a major influence on our nation's history. It translates from Latin to English as Touch Me Not. The novel mostly discussed the life of Crisostomo Ibarra, a member of the insular's social class, and a series of unfortunate events that he encountered through the works of Franciscan friar, namely Padre Damaso Verdulagas, and by the Spanish conquistadors. The book indirectly influenced a revolution despite the fact that the author, Jose Rizal, advocated non-violent means and only direct. It urged Filipinos to reclaim our self-esteem, recognize our own value, reconnect to our forefathers' history, and declare ourselves as equals to the Spaniard. It also emphasized the need of education, patriotism, and assimilating features of foreign cultures that would benefit the national culture. So, the novel critiqued happenings in the Philippines at the period when it was dominated by the Spanish. The novel spurred Filipinos to fight for their freedom because of how Catholicism was employed in the story. Many people wondered if Rizal had any hidden objects. He still believed in God despite the fact that he was no longer a fervent Catholic at the moment. As a result, some claim that Noli Me Tangere was Rizal's attempt to undermine their faith with the purpose of not only empowering the Philippines to fight back, but also of destroying Catholicism. Additionally, the novel was written to awaken us Filipino to fight for our freedom from all the harassment that we have been through. It depicted cruelty and sadness. It revealed the Spaniards' inner working of greed, violence, and abuse. I learned from this overwhelming work of novel the expression of love for our nation and family, regardless of our sorrows and agony. We must continue to do our best to fulfill our freedom and aid others, and we can all point to Sisa when it comes to familiar affection. She tried everything she could to find her children and cherish them till she died. So that's for the No Limitang Here. For the next topic, also his book, the El Filibusterismo. El Filibusterismo, a second novel wrote by Rizal, is a sequel to No Limitang Here, chronicles and exploits of Ibarra's alter ego, which is to destabilize the Spanish administration. This novel focused on the three martyr friars, Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora. The three priests were sentenced to death after Spaniards accused them of being government traitors. This book reveals the Spaniards' cruelty and vileness. However, the bravery of the Filipino population is also mentioned. Nonetheless, it addressed to the bravery of the Filipino community. It demonstrates our countrymen's unimaginable bravery in opposing the greediness and brutality of the Spaniards. By regarding this poetry tale, you may infer that the sword is not the only one who can cut through steel armor, but also words can demolish anyone's pride in this world. It will not kill you, but the wound it will inflict will slowly consume you. If I were a Spaniard and read his story, I'm sure I'd lose my head with rage and resentment. I am grateful not just to Rizal, but also to those who fight for liberty via a war of words and thoughts. In addition to Rizal, I am grateful to those who fight for liberty, both mentally and verbally, despite the fact that it did not immediately lead to war. The effect of the opponent was minimal. The battle for independence is portrayed in the novel, which is the El Filibusterismo. In my own opinion, Dr. Rizal intended to show us we should always try our best to avoid becoming caught up in negative habits. El Filibusterismo also stated that violence is not the solution to the problems that we face in our lives. According to my observations, El Filibusterismo is dark and cruel, with many instances of murder, sexual assault, and suicide. We must think about it. We must not reduce ourselves to that level in order to hide ourselves with aggression, hatred, or anger. So that's for the topic El Filibusterismo. So for the next topic, the vision of Father Rodriguez. Jose Rizal imagines Saint Augustine and Friar Jose Rodriguez, an Augustinian friar, conversing in his comedy La Visión del Fray Rodriguez. The saint criticizes the priest for his anti-priesthood thoughts and actions. He also discussed the priest's abusive conduct while pushing a member of Catholic Church. St. Augustine goes into considerable depth about the friar's lack of grasp of Christian principle and teaching. As a type of penance for his mixture of incompetence and tenacity, St. Augustine writes about him so that the world will laugh. So actually, Augustinian priest Friar Jose Rodriguez condemned No Limitang Here in pamphlets such as Cuestiones de Sumo Interés and Kaiingat Kayo, claiming that Rizal's work was critical. Rizal's satire was his response to the friar's claims. He had it printed in Barcelona in 1889 because it was so vital. It was only made public in secret because the Spanish authorities eventually ordered the pamphlets' destruction and confiscation. The Philippines only possessed by a few copies. So that's for the topic, the vision of Father Rodriguez. So the next topic, which is by the phone, symbolism is revealed in Por Telefono. It gives insight into the friars' lives as well as their sentiments of thanks for the presents given by insulators, ilustrados. Every word said in Madrid has created an echo that may be heard across the Philippines. Dimas Alang or Jose Rizal writes as if from the future in his essay by telephone, criticizing by tyranny of the friars in his day with sarcasm and irony. The text that Rizal had delivered to Mariano Ponce was published in Barcelona in 1889. This mockery was caused by Salvador Font, who censored Rizal's No Limitang Heri. Jose Rizal, our national hero, wrote the drama Por Telefono or by phone. How friars discussed societal concerns and their future intentions for the Philippines. It was published in 1889 in response to a Franciscan named Father Salvador Font for his antipathy for Noli Me Tangere and initiating the prohibition of Noli in the fall of 1889. So the first booklet was produced in Barcelona under the leadership of Dimas Alang. In the satirical comedy Por Telefono, Father Font communicates with a local priest at San Agustin Monastery over a telephone connection provided by the transoceanic telephone communication while in Madrid. So that's all for the topic by the phone. For the next topic or the last topic, which is the Rizal's letter to Father Pastels. Rizal's first letter to Father Pastels. Rizal expresses his appreciation to Father Pastels for the priceless gift of Sarda book. Sarda means a skilled polemicist in disseminating the views he supports in a certain social class, according to Rizal. According to Rizal, tell him to throw aside the stupidity of viewing his circumstances through the lens of his judgment and self-esteem, or no one is a judge of his own cause. Regarding self-esteem, I confess openly that I have long requested God earnestly to take it from me, but He who knows better what fits us has left it to me. Self-esteem is dignity when it is passionate and controlled by judgment. Rizal awards Father Pastels has the power to advise him. It means obligation to aid one another. Rizal lamented the shift in his fortune. I would like to cleanse the soil of my nation, Rizal says in a letter. Father Pastel expresses his thanks to Father Pastels. I will labor and do this and that, for God always has His way. So that's for the whole topic from prelim, midterm, and finals. Thank you for watching.